That which yields overcomes the hardest things. That which resists nothing can slip into places where nothing else can enter. Few in this world truly grasp the wisdom of teachings without words, or the hidden value of non-action. These are the words attributed to Lao Tzu, the mysterious sage of ancient China. There's no concrete proof he ever lived, but if he did, historians suggest it was around the 5th or 6th century BC, making him a contemporary of Confucius. Whether he existed or not remains uncertain, but the book connected to his name, the Tao Te Ching, has become one of the greatest philosophical works ever written and is the cornerstone of Taoism. One of the most fascinating and influential ideas that grew out of Taoist thought is Wu Wei. This phrase has been translated in many ways: non-action, effortless action, or even the paradoxical action without action. It might sound confusing at first, but in practice, Wu Wei refers to something very familiar: the state of flow. Athletes often call it the zone. When someone is in the zone, they act with no hesitation and without force. Movements feel effortless, almost as if time slows down. There's no overthinking, no extremes, no anxious rumination. Everything unfolds naturally, as if guided by an invisible hand. So, as an introduction to the deep and beautiful tradition of Taoism, let's explore what we might call the philosophy of flow. The Tao Te Ching itself is shrouded in mystery. No one knows the exact date it was written, and some scholars even debate whether Lao Tzu was a real person or a legendary figure. But one fact is undeniable. This work has profoundly shaped human thought for over 2,000 years. In fact, it's the most translated book in the world after the Bible. At the core of Taoist philosophy lies the idea of living in harmony with the Tao, which simply means the way. But what is the Tao? That's where things get complicated. The Tao can't be defined or captured by words. Our understanding of it is limited by our senses, by the narrow lens of human perception. And according to Lao Tzu himself, any Tao we can describe isn't the eternal Tao. That's why the Tao Te Ching begins with one of the most famous lines in philosophy: the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. So, if we can't describe it, what do we know about the Tao? Taoist thinkers often emphasize that the Tao is an all-encompassing force, beyond comprehension, beyond the reach of our senses. And while we can never fully grasp it, the goal is to live in harmony with it. Strikingly, this resembles the Stoic philosophy of aligning ourselves with nature. But that raises the question: how do we actually live in harmony with the way? Taoist texts don't hand us a single practical step-by-step method. Instead, they offer clues. The writings suggest cultivating stillness of mind, quieting the senses, embracing humility, and letting go of unnecessary striving. By doing this, we open ourselves to the flow of the universe. Stillness of mind doesn't mean we must retreat to a cave or sit endlessly in meditation. Instead, Taoists observe that stillness can exist alongside action. When we are fully present, our actions unfold without resistance, without friction, with a sharpness of focus that borders on ecstasy. The retired basketball legend Bill Russell once described his own experience of flow in his autobiography. It was almost as if we were playing in slow motion. During those spells, I could almost sense how the next play would develop and where the next shot would be taken. This description beautifully captures what Taoism points toward. In the Taoist classic Zhuangzi, we find a vivid story about Cook Ting, a butcher admired for the elegance of his work. Lord Wenhui once observed him cutting up an ox with astonishing grace, almost like a dancer. Impressed, the Lord praised his skill. But Cook Ting laid down his knife and replied, "What I care about is the way, which goes beyond skill. When I first began cutting oxen, all I saw was the whole ox. After 3 years, I no longer saw the ox as a whole. And now I move with spirit, not with eyes. Perception and understanding have stopped. The spirit moves freely. I go with the natural structure, guiding my knife through the openings. I never touch the smallest ligament or tendon, much less a joint." The lesson here lies in the condition of his knife. He explained that ordinary cooks dull their knives quickly. Good cooks replace theirs every year. Mediocre cooks, every month. But Cook Ting had used the same knife for 19 years. Why? because he didn't hack or force. He followed the natural order of things, and his knife slid effortlessly where it needed to go. This story isn't just about butchering oxen, it's about life. Forcing and striving may get the job done, but often at great cost. Wasted energy, damage, and exhaustion. Flow, on the other hand, is about working with intelligence and subtlety, knowing when to act and when to hold back, balancing effort and ease. It's the golden path between boredom and anxiety, too much and too little. This teaching stands in sharp contrast to Western ideals. In modern culture, we're told to push harder, to hustle more, to never stop striving. Ambition and control are praised, but the price is steep. Anxiety, burnout, depression, sleepless nights. We confuse rest with laziness and effortlessness with weakness. Yet when we look at nature, doing less or even doing nothing often makes more sense than constant pushing. Results don't always depend on how much energy we pour in. Many things unfold naturally without interference. Problems often resolve themselves with time. Taoism often compares life to a river. The river has its own course, sometimes branching into different streams. Once we're in that river, we have choices. Fight the current, cling to branches, or let go and flow with it. Most of us spend our lives fighting the current without even realizing it. The truth is, we control very little. We don't control digestion, blood circulation, or how wounds heal. We don't control other people, the future, or even who we fall in love with. So much is already flowing in its own way. When we align with that flow, we experience ease. This is the path of least resistance. It's about navigating the river, not trying to control it. A battle will never win. Another key Taoist metaphor is water itself. Water is soft, humble, and yielding, yet nothing surpasses it in power. Water erodes rock, shapes landscapes, nourishes life. It seeks the low places, never competing, never striving, yet it accomplishes everything. As the Tao Te Ching says, the supreme good is like water. It benefits all things without competing, and rests in places that others disdain. Thus, it is close to the Tao. Water has no ambition, no fixed goal, yet it sustains all life. And though it is gentle, it conquers the hard and rigid. If you've ever experienced true flow, you'll notice something. The obsession with results vanishes. Only when the thinking mind returns does anxiety about outcomes creep back in. In flow, the future and past dissolve. There's only the present task. This echoes the Stoic idea of amor fati, love of fate. Instead of worrying about results, we embrace whatever comes, focusing only on what lies within our control in the present. Think of athletes fully absorbed in play, or a writer immersed in their story, or a dancer moving without thought. In those moments, results don't matter. Pressure and doubt fall away. It's just you and the task. And the only way to enter this state letting go means releasing the struggle against the current, loosening our grip on the branches of past and future. It means surrendering to the moment as it is, living it fully, without hesitation. This is the Taoist secret. Not by force, not by endless striving, but by aligning with the natural course of things. By being like water, soft yet unstoppable. Thank you for watching.